Okay, this is a tutorial for the custom game editor. First thing we do is we open it. We see a list of the built-in types which you can duplicate if you would like to see how they're made or edit them, modify them. But for now I'm just going to create a new game type. So I'll click Create New, and you can see the default is really boring, just a gray square, and it doesn't do anything. And if you see, it doesn't even make lines or anything like that. So first thing I'll do is I'll give it a new name, my new puzzle game, and then I'll go to the block designer, and you can see the default block is the gray square. So I'll click this, and I could either delete it or I can edit it as it is. So I'll just edit it. I'll call this color block. And, well, let's call it color square. And then I'll give it a color, purple, and click preview. And you can see that now all the blocks are purple squares. So now if I add a second color, I can add green, and you can see that it's randomly generating both green and purple. So then I'll create another new block, and I'm going to call this one color circle. Let's just call it circle. And let's call the other one just square. And this one I'm going to give red and yellow. And I have to give it a sprite. If I don't, it'll be invisible. So I'm going to give it a circle sprite. And now you see we're generating red and yellow circles and green and purple squares. So these are our two types here. And what it's actually generating, it's generating a piece. So I'll go to the piece designer, and you'll see that our main piece type is just a single block. So this piece, these are all pieces, and the pieces are populated with these blocks. Whichever blocks in here are designated use in normal pieces. These pieces will choose its blocks from those. So let's change this. Let's make the piece 2 square piece. And we don't have to give it a color because the blocks already have a color. So the first thing I'll do is go into block placement and rotation. Let's go into this editor here, select our first rotation, and you can see it's just a single block. So let's make it 2 blocks and close this, and now you can see we're generating pieces with 2 blocks, but they don't rotate. And you can see that they're made out of, they're randomly populated. These pieces are randomly populated from these 2 blocks, and the colors of the blocks are also randomly populated. So what if we don't want that? What if we want a piece that's that's all squares and a piece that's all circles? So I called this one 2 square piece. Let's make it all squares. So what I would do is override block types. Go in here, select square, and save. And now you can see our piece is all squares all the time. So I should make another piece that's circles. So let's make a new piece. Oh, first of all, I can't rotate it. So let's make rotation so that I can rotate it. So you see there's only one rotation. And so let's do that, and then that, and then that. You can see the preview here is what it's going to rotate like. So let's save and close, and you can see that works. So now we have a piece that we can rotate that's made out of squares. And let's make a new one and call it 2 circle piece. And same thing. Let's place the blocks. And instead of manually doing it, I'm just going to load a preset because I know I have a preset for that. So 2-block rotate around 0, 0. And that's the same thing that I made. It's actually rotating the other way, but that's okay. And you can see. But if we generate enough, you see that this piece is actually using all the blocks still. So I have to override block type, select circle. Okay. And then preview, and you see now we have a piece that's all circles and a piece that's all squares. And it will always be that case. And the colors are generated, are randomly selected from the colors in the blocks. So the next thing we want to do is make it actually do something. So there should be some objective. And what I'm going to do is go to the game settings, and let's see, let's give it a chain rule, amount per chain, 3. So 3 matching colors, and then we have to set whether it's so 3 colors in a row, 3 colors in a column, and 3 colors diagonal. So any matching 3 colors in a row, a column, or a diagonal. So this should do it right here. And it does. It goes away. So we've scored a chain by doing that. So now it's a good idea to save now. I'll click Save. Let's add some more rules to this. So let's make something that is already in the playing field. So let's make a new block, and I'm going to call it playing field block. And I'm going to give it all of these colors. Let's see, so I'll use red, yellow, purple, and green. And this one, I'm not going to use it in normal pieces, so I'll unselect this, and I'm going to use it as playing field filler. And if I want it to fall down, it falls down by default. And I'll show you. First of all, if I click preview, nothing will happen because I'm not using playing field filler yet. So I'll go to game settings, and down here I have so drop games. This is a drop type game, and randomly fill the grid. So I'll select this, and you can see that that did not work. Uses actually it is working, but there's no sprite, so I have to give it a sprite. So let's give it blob. Oh, let's give it square gem. What does that look like? Okay, and now you can see that as soon as something touches, they fall. They should actually fall right away, which they would do in a normal game, but gravity is not yet applied when you click preview. So also the first piece that's generated when you click preview is whatever piece is selected here. So you notice I have 2 circle piece. So every time I click preview, you see that the first piece is always the 2 circles. If I click 2 square, it's always going to be the 2 squares. And same with the blocks that are selected. So if I click square, well, I guess it prioritizes the piece type, so that doesn't affect. But if I had just a single block piece, it would always use squares. You can see that here. It's always using the square because I have the square, and now it's always circles. So I'm going to delete that though. So we want these to not fall. So I'm going to use this ignore when moving down blocks. I should rename that. So now you can see they don't fall, but they're being generated too high up. So I need to set that in game settings. let's see, randomly fill grid star Y, let's put 6. Now you can see that there's 6 rows. It only gets generated up to 6 rows. And we could set the amount that it generates. That is here.